Hello, welcome to today's Commissioners meeting for March 25th. We're glad you joined us, and we have some departmental updates. Today we have with us Courtney,
Good morning.
HR.
Thanks for having me. So dive right in. Pam and I met with Melissa. Is Melissa's name on here? Melissa, I'm sorry, I forgot your last name. We met with Melissa from Behavioral Health Care Partners about 2 weeks ago, and we are going to partner with them to bring their mobile clinic on site the last Monday of the month. And they were going to park that in the Memorial Building parking lot next to the Public Defender's Office. And this will be open to the public as well as county employees who might want to stop in if they have some concerns on their mind that they want to talk to somebody about. Then they can get free services from them. So we're excited to have them and hope that this is a utilized service, not only for the employees, but also for the county.
How we publicize that, Courtney?
So this is the first I'm talking about it.
Okay.
They're going to make up flyers
Okay.
in order to push out to the public. And I'm going to be talking to elected officials at their meeting next month and the department heads to let them know about it. And then we have correspondence that we're going to send out to all county employees, letting them know about this service as well.
Nice.
Nobody
So-
needs an appointment, they just show up.
They just show up. Yeah. And if they need ongoing services, then BHP will work with them to do that. So
Can you tell everybody what BHP is?
Behavioral Healthcare Partners.
Correct.
So they're brick and mortar. They have 2 locations in Newark as well as out on Blackjack Road here in Mount Vernon.
And what kind of situations would people be coming there for?
Absolutely. So extreme sadness, excessive worry, change in sleep patterns, loss of interest, low energy, mood swings, uncontrollable emotions, inability to concentrate, drug and alcohol abuse, grief, anything that you would seek counseling services for.
Wonderful. So it's a compassionate service.
Indeed it is.
Great, wonderful.
Yeah. We represented Knox County last week on March 18th out at the NAS. They had an internship fair, employment fair. So folks from the Knox County Career Center, as well as the NAS, Kenyon College, COTC, could come through and see what kind of internships businesses around the county had available. We were promoting 4 internships, 1 with our Parks Department, Soil and Water, and 2 with the Engineers Department, as well as just talking about employment with the county in general, how we differ from the public sector, the kind of benefits that we offer, so that they can keep us in mind as they look forward into their career journeys. So we probably talked to 25
I
folks.
have to ask,
Right.
that age group, do you think they're concerned about benefits at that point?
It probably not in the
Yeah.
foremost of their mind. And
Yeah.
I even say, I realize that you're not thinking about retirement, that
Yeah.
that's eons ahead of you.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
fortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
some folks even my age live in the now, but putting that seed in their mind of the importance of a retirement plan,
Yeah.
good health insurance, leave time for striking that work-family balance, trying to promote all of those things that we provide to workers, planting the seed. I always ask them, what are you studying? What are you interested in after you get out of college or high school? And then my little game is to try to find somewhere in the county in which we can find a place for them. And I was able to do that successfully, except one young lady who was going into radiology.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe check with the health department. I didn't know if the health center had any x-ray services, not at this time, but maybe something we can
Yeah.
work on
Nice.
in the
Thank
future.
you.
So yeah, it's always a lot of fun to engage with those folks.
Great.
I just want to give my thanks to the IT team as well as Andrew for helping set up
Yes.
that conferencing equipment on the 2nd floor. It's all ready to go. So yeah, we were able to do, training and conferencing in that space. I know regional planning and the Parks Department uses that room quite a bit. So if they're needing that, kind of technology, we can help them out with that. So my thanks to all of you for
Good
helping
job,
us make
Andrea.
that happen. Yes, great job, Andrew. Wellness Committee, we've got lots of things going on. Just last Friday, Director of Security, Mr. Lashley, presented 2 sessions of awareness and personal defense training. I want to thank Judge Wetzel for allowing Mr. Lashley to come over and do that for us. We had 2 groups of folks go through that, and I just really appreciate him being available to do that. As part of the Anthem wellness program, they're doing a Hunger Heroes Challenge. I put out an email about that last week, in which between March 24th and April 18th, we're going to be collecting non-perishable food items for local food banks. And employees can sign up on Teams to get kind of credit towards their wellness program for that. But if anyone just wants to make a donation, we have a box in the HR office that you're welcome to drop off those items. And I will make sure that they get to local food banks at the end of the challenge. The Knox Workplace Team Walking Challenge is also going to be starting in April. The second floor has a team, and we encourage Knox County employees to create their teams because we're giving out an incentive for the high stepper. Any Knox County, team that's made up of Knox County employees, if they have the most steps at the end of the walking challenge, then we'll give their team some kind of prize, yet to be determined. We've also set up a fitness foundations class. That's going to be on May 7th between noon and 1 in the second floor conference room. Our friends at Knox Community Hospital are doing that for us. It's at no charge to employees, and they can come and get a few fitness foundation tools, tricks, tips to get them moving. And then I just wanted to let everybody know, a reminder that our wellness program is shortened this year and that it will end on June 30th. So the requirements that the county makes to complete the wellness program is a blood draw that includes cholesterol test, well visit, so just your annual visit to your primary care physician, and then doing an online health assessment. Keep in mind that we do not get any diagnostic information or results of those things. We only are informed of those.
But it self-tracks itself. We don't have to turn.
It's all done through claims. And if you go onto the website, anthem.com, or the Sydney app, you can do that health assessment and it will just automatically register that it's been completed. And that's all that we see, whether things have been completed or not. So. Let's see, safety. Andrea Sellers, our safety coordinator, she attended a half-day training in Dublin last week related to workers' comp. So getting updates on everything workers' comp. She's also meeting with the EMA director and assistant director today. I think they're in after I am today to talk about going around to the offices and ensuring that each department has a fire escape plan, right? What do they do and if there's a tornado? Also talk about their continuity of operations plan. If something were to happen, how are they going to keep their department going if there's an emergency? So she's working with them to make that happen, and more information will be coming out about that after she speaks with them. And then she's also representing Knox County in April at the County Loss Coordinators Association meeting. We get credit with Corsa for attending those meetings, and they happen once a quarter. Any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I put in your report our current staffing levels, job postings. Those can all be found on the county's website. So we encourage the community to go on to the website and look at those opportunities to join us here at the county. I also put in the data of the interviews, onboarding, and the offboarding that we've done in the last month. and kind of a year-to-year look at that. Compared to last year, we are down a little bit with the interviews, onboarding and offboarding. And then we are currently monitoring 17 FMLA cases throughout the county. So that's what I got for you.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Always do a phenomenal job.
Thank
One
you.
of the subco meeting for the commissioners
Next Friday.
next Friday.
Yes, the annual subco meeting, PM and I will be going. And so I will report back on any information that we glean from that.
Perfect.
Mm.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Thank you for the
Thanks.
Thank
time.
you. Have a great day.
You as well. Thank you.
I think next we are ready to bring in JT from the Emergency Management Agency.
Yeah, he's on his way in. Morning.
Hi, JT. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Knox County Emergency Management Agency. And who do you have here with you? Amy. Amy, good to see you again, Amy. Yes. All the things going on with emergency management. I hear you just did a training with the HR there.
Yes, we're working on getting through several trainings, hopefully. Orchestrate and stop the bleed and things like that, after Brett.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, you
Yeah.
printed it for us too, I don't have to read it off my phone.
No.
I still can't put my reading glasses away though. All right, yeah, we've been pretty eventful here, getting some things knocked out the last couple months, so. You want to start, Amy, with the?
Yeah, so we had a meeting with a handful of our community partners to discuss, warming and cooling stations, throughout the county. So Julie Miller, is actually going to help us to ask some of our community partners outside of Mount Vernon to see if they're willing to be hosts to those, stations, because summer is going to be coming and I'm sure that we'll have a couple warm streaks, so we'll have those available throughout the county. We did a Facebook campaign last week. It was Severe Weather Week, March 16th through the 22nd. So I had updated information about the signs of thunderstorms, kind of that anatomy of what thunderstorms look like, and we had a really good interaction with the public when it came to that. And then we also did a radio interview last Tuesday to talk about the Severe Weather Week and then the outdoor warning sirens. That was a statewide test that went off last Wednesday at 9:50.
The
Yeah, I
outdoor
thought it-
warning sirens, Amy, that's for tornadoes only.
Mm-mm.
No.
They can be for any severe event that we want people to
Okay.
go inside. So that's a kind of that misconception that they think it's only for tornadoes, but we can use them for, it could be for a severe thunderstorm as well. It just doesn't necessarily have to be for a tornado or for anything that we want people to go indoors for.
So the
Thank you.
one at Apple Valley is coded in such a way that the property owners association has the ability, if there was a imminent dam failure, that it actually sets a different tone so that people there know that it's a different than a tornado.
Good to know. Thank you.
And I thought the Facebook messaging was so important that I added it to the list after you did.
Oh, you didn't realize. Well, perfect. And then we have an upcoming exercise in May. We're working with Senior Fair Board to do a exercise and introduce them to what incident command system looks like and working with our public first responders so that if there is an incident at the fair, then they have an idea. Basically, everyone has that idea of who does what and how that response is going to look.
And we
So,
have a live May 10th, is it, that I'm going to?
yes.
Thank you.
Planning, we both sit on the education committee for Emergency Managers Association of Ohio. We're getting ready to roll out spring conference next month and
Next
Amy,
week.
or next week, yes. Well, it is still next month. And Amy and I are actually presenting our reunification project at the state level there. Our P20 meeting we had, that's our schools and first responders and agency groups. We had 20 folks there, and Amy put together some scenarios after that meeting that we kind of worked through in tables in groups to each one had a different scenario, so everybody could kind of hear that debrief and hot wash afterwards on how they overcame the challenges within that scenario.
Great.
Go on.
We met with Mount Vernon City, engineer's office and the mayor's office to talk about their project for the Weston levee system. They have a really good plan in place right now. They have some questions for us, and so they haven't sent it to us about what they're looking for, but basically like what is the evacuation plan, shelter stuff, so we're working with them when it comes to the levee system, and it was a good informational meeting that we had with them, and eventually what their end goal is, so. You did the CERT one, so.
Yep, so working with some adjacent counties on a regional project for a CERT team, that's Community Emergency Response Team. Those are volunteers that will come out and assist in damage assessments, search and rescue and things like that. Each one of the counties kind of is in the same boat after COVID. It kind of knocked our numbers down of our participants and our active folks in that. And not everybody has, just like we don't anymore. We had a CERT coordinator that was a volunteer position. He left and moved to Stark County. He's operating as a chaplain at the sheriff's office up there. He kind of ran things for us so that we were still supervising that, but he took care of the trainings and all that. And that's where all the EMs in our region have kind of felt that we don't have the time to do that. So we're gonna try to couple with OSORT, Ohio Special Response Team, to kind of run those trainings for all the counties. And the idea is to kind of have them in each one of the counties on different Saturdays to bring people in. So we've got a training coming up. It's traffic control. So teaching these folks how to direct traffic in large scale events and things like that. Those sorts going to put on a search and rescue in a building. They've got a K9 team that has the GoPro cameras on that will transmit back to a monitor, and they're going to show the folks how that works. So still kind of a project in motion to get a final product out of that. But the idea is if I have 5 people from Knox, 5 from Marion, 10 from Morrow, at least maybe I can get a dozen that will show up to an event if I need it here. So.
Great.
Working with the new Aries coordinator. He's new to this area. Aries is the amateur radio group that would come in and do any type of communication that we may need in an emergency event, or if our comms would go down, if the MARC system, I'll call it broke for lack of a better term, and we need to communicate to other counties or hospitals or things, those folks come in and do that for us. So they do.
What kind of radio would that be, JT? If our system's down, what would they be communicating?
It's a ham radio.
Like an old.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
an old
so
CD
they all
radio.
have their call signs, they do field days and things like that where they practice amongst the group. They know who their contacts are at other counties. So we have a system at the sheriff's office, next to our EOC, and there's also a system at the Knox Community Hospital. So if it's a hospital event, they can come in and do that communication
you.
for us
Thank
too. Kyle Johnson and I went to Seventh-day Adventist Elementary School, did a threat assessment discussion with them, and after the fact, Kyle went out and did his threat response report and showed them some areas of improvement and things like that that they can work through. They also want us to come back and do some training with them, so that'll happen probably closer to the end of the school year.
So our schools feels good and safe, right?
Yes.
Good. Good. Safe streets, safe schools, right?
Yes, and we just did the annual update yesterday with American Red Cross to understand their local capabilities and And then they heard from us kind of what our expectations are. Grants, the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, the BRIC grant, phase 1 is complete for that. We've got the schedule set up, and I've got a kind of a save the date for you folks. So our county elected officials will be meeting June 30th at 9 a.m. at Ramsey Parade Center. That's for our hazard mitigation plan update. So that's where we have that in-kind match from the state, but the first draw of $2,500 is complete, submitted to the state, and just waiting to hear back. They are, last I heard from the state, they are going through and processing those by hand, so it's a little more time consuming than usual, but the money is coming, so I was able to let our consultant that's helping know that she's gonna get a paycheck.
That's always helpful.
That helps.
Yeah, we have not heard anything back on the emergency management performance grant. We're still waiting to hear when they're gonna release that supplemental. That's from all the monies left over from the last fiscal year. They usually let us go back several months, and anything that was left unpaid from that grant, we can resubmit, so.
Is
That'll
that,
help.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
JT, is that money that was left over from the previous year that you can resubmit for that
Yes.
you did not use? Is that how that works?
That's correct. So we exhausted ours to 0.
Mhm.
But there's, 88 other counties that have their hand in the cookie jar. If somebody left money on the table and it goes back into that kitty, and we have expenses that weren't paid,
Right,
then I can resubmit those and get them paid back before the next fiscal year will start. So,
thank you.
Stay on top of that, that's good.
mental health and recovery, Licking and Knox County had a preparedness project. We haven't made it official to roll out yet. We're waiting on them to get some things finished, but they've been able to purchase some emergency preparedness book bags and bill buckets. You've heard me talk about those.
Right,
And we're gonna work out a plan to distribute those in the county to folks that need them. So just kind of waiting on the go ahead from them. And that's something we'll publish on Facebook probably when we roll that out. Continuing ed. Amy and I both sat in on assessing responding to anonymous threats in K-12 schools. That was presented by. Yes, system. FLETC, that's Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. I did 2 classes, virtual classes online there, targeted violence case study and a targeted violence prevention. Those are typically taught by an analyst from Secret Service and some of our alphabet soup of federal government. Intelligence liaison officer partners and the intelligence liaison officer for Knox County. So any intel that comes to me, and I kind of filter that and give it to whatever jurisdiction I was involved with or would need to be aware of that intel. They also did a training on the STAC, Statewide Terrorism Analysis and Crime Center, how to submit those reports. So several months ago, we had a couple swatting incidents within a couple days of each other. Some very similar things happened with those. So I was able to work with Laura to get copies of that 911 call and things like that, send that to the STAC, just so they're aware of those are things that are going on in our area. They would also notify me if there was another agency that was dealing with the same thing, so maybe the two could work together. So it's all about sharing information. And I took part in the Stop the Bleed training with the sheriff's office. We did tourniquets and casualty care, combat care. That was presented by Mount Vernon Fire Department.
that's a good course, actually.
Yes, yeah, we trained that in RTF. I'm actually a Stop the Bleed instructor, but
Yeah.
they gave me credit hours too for education.
So I've been busy. I'm not gonna go down through all of the continuing ed stuff that I've been doing, but I'm excited that our emergency management agency association, I'm actually going to be co-chairing our Amish caucus group for our association, because there's, out of the 88 counties, there's an Amish population in 57 counties now. And so what this group does is that they help to organize a health and safety event specifically for the Amish community. So Knox County, we've done, partnered with Morrow County to do a health and safety event for the Fredericktown community. And then also I've worked with Danville, with their Amish community, and then I'm going to be meeting, with Williamsburg Fire to maybe, start a Amish health and safety group in Laytonsburg. But with the, caucus, we're going to do it statewide. So if there's any counties that don't have, an Amish and health safety group, we can help them to get that started and help them to get organized. So, it's pretty amazing because the Amish, it ranges anywhere from being, pretty progressive of them being able to drive golf carts and use electric bicycles, all the ways to, our Amish communities here in Knox County where they don't use any kind of, extra transportations besides their horse and buggy. So they're all over the place. And so that's what this group is going to help do, is to educate other, counties about the Amish. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I'm also part of the Amish state task force, where we meet at the state level with, the organization. So, we're excited to get that up and going, and we will actually be rolling that out during our, spring conference next week. And then, on the back page is just our, meetings that we attend on a monthly or quarterly basis. So, you can see what we've done. We were pretty excited that, that was at the end of January that we hosted the 400 course, the ICS 400 course. So that is, a higher level course for when, an incident happens and how to manage that incident. So that's what the 400 course. So we had 22 attendants, and out of the 22, I would say there was probably 15 or so that was from Knox County. So, and that ranged from law enforcement, fire, public health. So that was a good training. And then we attended the soil and water luncheon last week, and we have our central sector meetings that we meet every other month. So there's 20 counties in our central sector that we get together and talk about what's going on in each of our counties, dealing with emergency management.
JT, I heard you talk about collaboration, just me being a new commissioner. When you say that, is it pretty much the counties that touch it we're in collaboration with, for instance, Richland, Licking, Morrow? Or is it spread further than that?
I
or
think it's
narrower?
spread further than that. I mean, we have Franklin County, Union County come to our.
So it
central
is a
sector
bigger
base,
radius
yes.
than just those touching
Yeah.
counties.
Now, we do a lot more, I think, discussions. We have a monthly lunch and learn at Delaware that we'll go to on a Friday. And we sit down and what projects are you working on that you need, you've come to a challenge that you don't know how to overcome. And you've got 4 or 5 other counties that are there that maybe have done that, and they give you that pointer that, well, this is, what we've done, and that's how we got through that.
So it's not an organizational thing that those counties belong to, it's an independent thing and you just work with each other, JT?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, we're all members of either that northeast sector that that's clear up to Ashtabula County. We're the southwesternmost, in that, so that's when we've had those meetings at Lake Erie. They talk about Davis Bessie and
Yeah.
nuclear things that we don't have to necessarily worry about here. And then we talk about Amish and they're totally blown away.
Yeah.
How we're trying to get, help with.
Well, and
issues
the other thing too, and it was on the news last night, about outdoor warning systems. So it's a huge cost to our jurisdictions. Well, Franklin County, they have 190
Mhm.
sirens because of their population. And so, and they feel that is the best way to communicate with their folks is by having those outdoor warning sirens,
Yeah.
in which that's a struggle for the smaller communities because of the cost. And so it's totally interesting some of our meetings can get pretty interesting, just because we do have a large metropolitan county as part of our, central sector, and then, we have our smaller rural, communities. So we each have our own special needs that we get to learn from, with each other.
A few
So.
years back during the campaign, one of the people told me that we were a Paul Revere community. If you remember Paul Revere, the Amish English coming
So you're
in.
exchanging best practices.
Mhm.
And I wanted to thank you too for sitting with me and answering my questions, entertaining me at the luncheon. You guys-
Anytime.
You gave me some good information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, I think it's interesting, and I'm sure maybe your organization has talked about that, but you were talking about how different, because I'm looking at your thing, northeast, right?
Mhm.
So until a few years ago, that's how Knox County was with the County Commissioners Association. And then it was kind of determined that really we should have a central district, and they kind of redid the districts because they realized the things we're dealing with
Right.
and Licking, Knox, Richland, Union was much different than throwing us in an area that we
Like Erie.
really didn't
Yeah,
have much
yeah.
interest. So, they ended up redoing those and forming more of a central district, and that's what Knox County is in the CCAO group. So I don't know if that's something down the road your organization might take a look at, because even the population push for what we're facing, the rest of the state's losing population, but not the central district. So the things we're facing are much different here
True.
than the rest of the state. So it might be worth it. I guess, I don't know who would drive that. I think CCAO kind of did that for us, because I think there was some questions and requests by commissioners in that central district to say, maybe we ought to form and
I think ours.
focus on what our issues are. Are yours
Yeah,
defined by
we
FEMA?
FEMA regions, Homeland Security regions, and those are two separate regions. Some of us are in the same.
I can tell you
Some
this
of us are
commissioners
not.
thing carries some clout when it comes to state representation, when they go in front of our state reps and senators, that carry some clout when they show up, because it's everybody.
Well, and so many of us join, if we're that bordering county, that's like we're in northeast sector and central sector, because we do have that relationship with Coshocton
Yeah.
and Holmes County and and then central, it's Licking and Franklin, right? So we can grab from both ideas, but we've kind of got a core group. We've got a Facebook group that we all belong to called the Cool Kids. And it's not so much our region, but all those counties that are within one or two of each other.
Yeah.
They might not be in that, and we share, weather.
Yeah.
It'll pop up on my phone and it's 2 counties away telling me what weather they're getting right now, so I know what to expect in an hour or 2 hours. All the way down to, hey, I need assistance in this, that, or the other, so.
Nice.
I get those weather alerts too. I'm like, oh, that's in Northeast.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you.
No, you guys
Amy.
have anything else?
Thank you,
Have a
Amy.
great
Thank
day.
you, JC.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great report. All right, next thing we have is a resolution.
Yeah, we got one resolution today, just to approve an advertisement for a public hearing for TD Petroleum for their salt brine application.
Thursday.
All right. Do I have a motion? Hi, Barry. Do I have a
I'm sorry,
motion
yeah,
for the-
I motion to approve.
advertise? All
Yeah.
right, I second it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay,
right,
and then
County
I've got,
Administrator.
yeah, just a few things. Looks like we did receive, just years of service award from the Central Ohio Fire District. They believe they had their 25th anniversary celebration, this month. And so they were just formally recognizing, the efforts of the county and our commitment to public safety and our community. So they submitted that. I'll have Penny enter that into the record that we received that. Also wanted to give you, we did receive, regional planning did adopt the comprehensive plan with a couple revisions that they would like to see in the draft. They have forwarded that down to us. Penny, I'll give you this to enter into the record. And then I think when Commissioner Purcell gets back, we'll put this back on the agenda next week, and the 3 of you can decide when you would like to set the 2 public hearings that the county will be required
We can do those in the same day, like afternoon and evening, right? We don't have to spread.
We'll
those
do,
out.
I would say probably at least do them 1 week apart typically,
Okay.
and will do. I mean, we can go either way. A lot of times we'll do the night meeting first, then the next week we'll do a day meeting.
So we don't wanna do them the same day.
No, I would do them
Okay.
on at least a week
Uh,
apart.
the only thing that I hope got put in there was at the regional planning committee. The Syker Road thing changed from extend to.
Oh, Sycamore Road.
Sycamore Road,
Yeah, they did.
instead of extending, it's just.
And they've asked that the plan the draft be reflective of these
reflective.
changes before they send you the new draft, so.
Right.
We'll just enter that, so Penny has it,
Okay.
and then Penny, if you'll make a copy of this and put back out here, so we remember to talk about it again on Tuesday. And we'll set our dates for that.
Sure.
We also received from Philander Chase Conservancy on behalf of their board of directors, they were offering their support of the comprehensive plan. So I do want to enter that in the record that they were supporting the plan. So you have that, we've got that, and then just an update again on the north entry building project. So the power will be shut off to this building on Saturday for approximately 3 hours while AEP moves that meter. And I think the AEP is also gonna do some other work on the pole while they have the power shut off, so. We're anticipating a maximum of 3 hours, facilities will be here, IT will be here and make sure everything's up and running. We've got 911 will be running on generator power like they would normally do, so I think we've got everything ready, but that will happen Saturday morning for about 3 hours
Okay,
during that time, so.
everything?
That's all I have for you. Penny does have several sets of minutes here for you to review and sign.
Great.
And then we have the county bill list that needs reviewed and signed. And
Okay.
other than that, commissioners, that's all I have for you today. Thursday, the sheriff will not be coming in. That was his normal update. Contacted me yesterday and he has a meeting in Mansfield that day at the same time. So he said he didn't have anything of urgent matter to get to, so probably
Okay.
just take him off the list and bring him back in his normal update in April. He'll be back.
Okay. So we don't need a motion to approve these minutes.
Now,
right?
once you
Okay.
sign them, that'll be your resolution.
Okay. All right, I see we have a couple folks here for public comment possibly. Do you have a question, Darcy or Rebecca, that pertains to county business?
Per your bylaw, that actually doesn't have to pertain to county business, so I'm just gonna ask. So you made a statement in the Mount Vernon News where you said you're not going to step down because of the trust that for the community. The community doesn't trust you anymore. It's gone. I don't know why you're not seeing it or hearing your community speaking out and saying, Brenda, we're begging you, please step down. What is going on in your home? That's your home. Deal with your home first, because what has happened is you brought it here. You have put Knox County on the map in a bad way. It's an embarrassment to our.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but these allegations have nothing to do with me personally.
Oh, they do, because you said that these people trust you.
I'm not
They don't,
being-
and also,
I'm not
you
being
also
accused of
lied
anything
about in
like that.
campaign. You said in your
Like, I'm
campaign
not
that,
being accused of anything, so
yeah,
thank you for
actually,
your comment. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm
Brenda, I'm
also,
not done, because you
also-
also made a promise during your campaign that you would be in this office daily. You're not.
I didn't make a promise to be your daily.
Yes, you sure did.
out
You
in the
said you were not
community.
gonna be like the previous
I'm
one
out in
and
the
you would be
community.
here. No, you're not.
Yes,
No,
I am.
Brenda,
I
please stop
respect, I
lying.
respectfully thank you for your comment. Do have
You
a
actually
comment
can't
also?
stop me from talking, Brenda, because it's
Mm.
per public and I am the public. I am a member of this
You have 3
community.
minutes to make a comment.
Yeah,
You have,
I absolutely
you have
do.
35 seconds left.
Okay, Brenda, please stop. Just listen to your community. Your community is asking you to please step down because of allegations against your family, whatever. You need to deal with your home first. This is not your home. Deal with it first. There was a reason why I didn't vote for you. There was something in my gut. I think you remember me telling you, don't run because there's something I
I
don't trust
remember
about
you
you.
fought an opponent against me
Yeah.
during the whole
And
campaign.
I'm still an
So
opponent,
this is
and
a
you
personal
need to,
vendetta.
no, absolutely not. I'm speaking on behalf of people who asked me to come here today to say, Brenda, step down. If you read those comments on your little thing that you put into Mount Vernon News, which basically called your daughter a liar, which, you know, that
No,
was
it's
for
not
you.
calling my daughter a liar. I don't want to get
They
into personal
don't
things.
want,
Your
they
time
don't
is
want
up.
you here, Brenda.
Rebecca, your
They
time
don't
is up.
want you here.
Thank you. I received a lot of cards and encouragement.
Oh, that's funny, because I
Darcy,
received
you
that
have
for
a
1
comment?
second.
Yeah, I read the same news article. And you said that you were not gonna abandon the trust that voters placed in you. Our community deserves advocates who stand up for what is right, regardless of personal trials. Have you ever heard of misplaced trust? When people voted for you, you claim to run on transparency. You have handled this with zero transparency.
Yep.
And everyone has been watching. The transparent thing to do when this first came out was to acknowledge it, resign or take a leave of absence so you could be there for your family and cops could investigate. Instead, you called it an attack on your family. Your daughter was the first one came forward. That spoke volumes to the residents of Knox County. The trust that voters gave you was misled. Were you open and transparent about the financial investigation while you were campaigning?
There was no financial investigation while I was campaigning or
No.
now. There is no financial
But
investigation.
there was
now.
before. Did
I
you
know.
let people know?
That was a person that was disgruntled employee
But-
and it was cleared at the state level. There was no issue.
But
there.
did you let people know that there was an
There was,
investigation?
anybody can be investigated for anything. Allegations can be made by anyone. Doesn't mean it's true or valid. And
There
once it
were
was
things
investigated, there was absolutely no,
There were things
violations
that you
found.
had.
there was no
They
violation
gave you
found.
suggestions for
There was no
improvements.
violation found
Okay.
whatsoever. Actually, 4 years of records were completely combed over
While
in
you were,
detail and
okay.
there were no
you
allegations.
cannot abandon something that is not there. The residents have been calling on you to resign, the residents you claim to serve, so why aren't you listening? At this point, I feel like you're keeping the residents in a toxic relationship with you
Mhm.
that we want out of. Your true colors continue to show and it is on display for the world to see. Knox County deserves better and we deserve better.
And you also need to step down from
Thank you.
central committee, because you don't even show up to those meetings either.
Thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. I want to be gracious. There's still an investigation ongoing and I can't comment or defend or talk about any of those pieces, or I would have.
Defending.
There are many things
I'm
I'd
saying
love to say. I just
from
can't
the-
say right now.
From the outside look of everybody. You're on the family first council, right, with children?
My heart has always been for family. And I
Okay,
fought for family. and
Okay,
taught
But you're
family.
not fighting for your family because you're.
no,
still
hang
here.
on. We all read the same statements of what your daughter alleged happened in your house. Happened more often than not, that she was abused. You can't protect
I can't
or
comment on that. You
stand
know,
up
I
for your own
can't.
children.
Those
Right.
are, those are
But the- Okay,
allegations.
with allegations.
Allegations. There's no proof of that.
Right, but it still sends a clear message. If you
Anyone
can't,
can be accused of anything and anybody can be investigated for anything. We all know that. We've seen it with our president, right? So those things can happen to anyone. It doesn't make
It's-
it true.
but
right?
it's-
So, and by the
so
way,
it's a
3
bad-
minutes are up
so
as well.
It's a
but
bad
I'll-
look
Wait,
on Knox
no,
County.
I'll be
wait,
gracious.
I
I'll
have a
give you 30
question.
seconds.
I have a question. You just said it doesn't make it true, but you also said that you weren't saying your daughter was lying.
I'm not
So,
commenting on either way right now.
but you just said both
I love
things.
my
the same-
family. I'm for my kids. I'm for my family. I've spent my life
Then you need to be
devoted.
with your family and not here.
You
My
need to be
family no
from
longer
Knox
lives in my
County.
home. They're all adults. I no longer have any say over that. There's an investigation being conducted. And that's all I can say right now. But thank you for your comments today. I'm going to take a motion to adjourn because we're at 3 minutes.
We have Daryl Severance here.
So, oh, Daryl,
Daryl.
Daryl,
Yeah, Daryl,
he's here for us.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you here for us?
comprehensive plan.
Oh, sorry. You weren't on the agenda. Go ahead.
Hi, Daryl.
Hello. Well, regional planning, first up, I would like to thank the Board of Commissioners for funding the Planning Commission again this year. It was a bit of a jolt to find out that it was not being funded, but anyway. The other piece of business I wanted to bring before you was that the Planning Commission on Thursday evening passed their resolution to move the comprehensive plan draft onto the commissioners. We had a couple of items that we wanted to have revised, and that was, I don't know if,
Yeah, I
Jason,
have a
did you have a copy of it?
Yeah, and I just went over, I didn't go over all the details, Daryl, I just told the commissioners we received that, Penny was entered into the record, and then
Okay,
we'll need to set hearing dates.
Yeah.
Hearing dates.
okay.
Well, We understand you made some changes to Sycamore Road and maybe one other item.
Yeah, there was the one item that held everything up the most was the
Building.
mention of building codes.
It was
it-
removed from the verb.
That was a stumbling block for the planning commission. There's several other on the list that is on the resolution. There's just small secretary or
Misspellings.
things like that to clean up.
We were
And
gonna do
then-
2 hearings a week apart.
Yes, yeah.
Carol is together Knox that they're the planning next, are they gonna make those updates to draft and for us and submit a clean copy?
Yes.
To our office.
That's
Okay.
the plan. I sent this list to them
Okay.
and I haven't heard back from them yet, but I anticipate that they'll.
It'll be a final draft plan to come to us, correct?
Right, right.
Okay.
And then, like Brenda mentioned, there was somebody brought up the
Sycamore Road.
Sycamore Road mention in there that said to extend Sycamore Road. There's really no where to extend it to. So we suggested changing that to improve
Okay.
Sycamore Road, which is
Thank you.
so. And then that draft should be coming to, or the clean copy should be coming to.
So hopefully they'll give that before long, and then Commissioner Purse will be back next week, and then I thought the 3 commissioners could then decide when they want to set those hearings, so we'll take that up on our agenda next week.
Okay.
So hopefully by then they'll have the final copy
Mhm.
ready to go, but
Great.
Another item, I'm sure Barry has mentioned to you, or it came up during the meeting the other night, was Cameron Keaton and I have had conversation with Wendy Moeller from Compass Point Planning about revising our subdivision regulations. I know that was had been talked about. One of the reasons why I delayed that was the fact that I knew that there was going to be some things that were recommended through this planning document, that if we went ahead and revised it and then had to come back and do it again, it's kind of a long drawn out process.
Your subdivision codes will probably coincide a little bit with the new comprehensive.
Right, right. And that's is the intention of that.
are they are you asking them for a quote to engage in that?
Yes, yeah, and Wendy's working on that. I haven't seen anything from it yet, but when I.
Because I'm sure that'll be a joint county or PC effort. to
Well,
Prepare and probably cost and anything else, right?
yeah, her indication from our discussion was that it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Okay.
I guess that's all relative. When you deal with that sort of.
Depends on how big relevant is to one person.
Right.
But you're pretty confident the concerns have been voiced now, everybody's been heard, and so we're now able to move forward
Yeah.
to the commissioner, so
Yeah.
we'll get those dates set. We look forward to being able to.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming down, Daryl.
Have a
Have a
good
great
day.
day. Thank you for your service and your work.
Thank you.
I would love for art. I'm gonna take a motion now to adjourn. Barry, but I'm not.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I second it. All in favor? We're adjourned.
Can you please step down from Central Committee too, because you don't show up to those meetings